I think I'm going to go Regis. I think we're going to go Regis next. I think Regis is a solid buffer for us, and I'd like a chance to get him some more epics. More epics. This is limited. This is very limited. Turn Axel. Come in and give me that gold fan. Give me that level 1 gold fan. There. We got all the... Almost. There's all the gold find in. Alright, what are we getting off? Area 1, how far could we level up our click damage? Yeah, over 100. Yeah, alright. That works. So Regis would be here. This is rough. Alright. We gotta have Ashara in for Frost Giant. Also gonna want Hitch leveled up with lots of daggers to bounce. We got magical on Ruby weakness. Oh, no. We did not want that. We want Briv to skip levels. Since we picked Briv. We want to bounce. We want a bounce house. If possible. If possible. Alright. 201 gems. Let's go open this Dark Urge chest. Come on. We're nowhere near a pity timer, but doesn't mean we can't get an epic. Unless it does. Alright. And, you know, I was remaining hopeful. Did we loot any? No. Still down numbers. We got the other stuff. Seems, but not the speed potions. Alright, Zoldan. Thanks for stopping by. I'll be here all week. I'll be over on the CD Games channel on Thursday. I will not be doing a show on Saturday on their channel, but I'll do one here. We just didn't, I was mentioning, we just didn't have a really good topic. That made it worthwhile, and I was like, you know what, after 4 years, I can take a Saturday. Off. On holiday weekend? Sure. Hit 2001 for the first time today. Beastingers Unleashed. Nice! Oh, it totally counts, Dance Lover. Count it. I've been to 2001, yeah. Where? Beastingers Unleashed. Oh, that doesn't count. Well, it totally does. I was there. I saw it. That's see? It was a thing. It happened. Trying to think ahead. Next event, we'll have a featured champion and a rework champion, presumably. And then we're going to have 3 flex slots. So, it should be... Slot 1 to flex will be Orkira. My slot 4 to flex will be Antreus. I could spurt in slot 3. Phrasing. That would give me the 3. But Caddy Breeze is 7. I mean, actually she's a 10. But, no, she's a 7. But spurt would be here. But we need... I was going to go Caddy Bree here. Because we're going to have Azaka here. Yeah, Azaka here. Caddy Bree here. Orkira. Antreus. Yeah. And then we'll still need a slot 3. But I like Caddy Bree. I like picking up the idea of picking up Caddy Bree early because she is such both. She's so flexible as both a DPS and a support. I like that a lot. I think there's so many good champions coming though. Like for me, right off the top, Caddy Bree, Ayla, Spurt, or Kira, Antreus. There's 5 what I would call incredibly strong, right? Penelope's good. Gosric's okay. Melf is, end game speed feed champion for kills. Narak is butchered my boy. Yeah, next event is going to be tough for people to make decisions about, I feel like. And we don't even know who the new champ. Well, I mean, I know who the new champion is, but we don't, publicly we don't know who the new champion and the rework champions are. I wouldn't put Penelope into like super strong range anymore. Yeah, she's still solid, but yeah. I was having trouble with the tier 2 variant for Briv. Which one? There's 3. There's 3. Slytherin kid. Every champion has 3 variants. The level 451. I did not do it on this account. I don't know what your power level is, but when you're losing this many, when you're losing a bunch of slots, like formation slots, the go-to champion is usually Desmond. If you don't have them and you don't have them geared up though, then this is probably not doable with your regular champions. I mean, you really just need to push as far as you can. I can't tell you who your strong champions are. You need to push as far as you can and then try to build a formation that would work here. But everybody back, like your damage can either be up here or up here, but basically your buffers can't necessarily be positional. You can get away with 1 or 2 positionals, but not a lot. You just got to try to get to your wall and then start swapping people in and out and see what your best possible pushing formation is. But this is, I got through this with Desmond. Desmond basically gives you a buff based off the number of escorts, and then also buffs based off dead people. So then I combined him with like Blushi and Spurt and Astarion, because they all count as dead in certain situations. So it gave me a huge buff, and I could get through it. But yeah, some of those are basically it's. You have to be far enough into the game to have collected the champions, or just have strong enough power in the champions to get past. Tier 1 is the only one that's like anyone can do tier 1. Anyone can do tier 1. But beyond that, it's all about, who do you have? Which champions have you collected? Oh, fucking Ryder. That was a stretch. That was a stretch. Bye, Dad Sliver. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, Ricardoso, I get it. I'm not trying to ruin it for anybody. No, Penelope is Circle of the Moon. Look, these are whatever's showing in Greengrass is who is arriving in Greengrass. They screwed up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Those are the 9 champions plus 2 more. They messed it up and they shoved everybody. They basically, everybody that's showing up in the next event, you can see right in there for whatever reason. And in other places, people are gone. They got moved out. It's hopefully a bug, but maybe not. Maybe that's just what they're gonna do, so that where everybody is going forward, and then they'll just get rid of those old ones. That may be what they're doing. I don't know. I find it annoying, but so on the guide to-do list, like priority is updating the consumables 101 guide to include pigments. Hey, Noobles. I mean, anything's possible, J-Dog. I'm just telling you, that's who's in there. So maybe she could be the rework champion. We don't know. I'm just telling you, they moved for whatever reason. They messed up and they moved everybody's achievements that's going to be in Greegrass into that section. So she might be, but I don't know that for sure. I can't speak to that. Publicly, that hasn't been declared. So. Hold on, folks. Okay. Just making sure I am over 170 guides. I'm up to 173. Put that here. Date. 133 champion guides. And 40 other. That's a lot. All right. I'm going to make sure I have the right information there. Let's see. Consumables 101. It's updating. It is a lot of guides, yeah. They're all mostly updated. I mean, like I said, I got to add pigments to this one, but yeah. I haven't played darts since I was in high school, so I don't get that joke. 3 times triple 20. Oh, okay. Yeah. Like I said, it's been a long time. We're just adding a whole new section. How do pigment work? Before gilding. Yeah, sure. Or forms. Yes. Hmm. Will a good run of all 3 darts actually score? Yeah, I mean basically. That's what I remember from darts. Hmm. Motion stack. Oof. I'm guessing that was a metal tip dart. Most of the darts I played as a kid were plastic tip darts. Because the metal tip darts were dangerous for that very reason. Yeah. Yeah. Metal tip darts and metal tip lawn darts. If anybody remembers lawn darts. I don't even think they sell those anymore because those are weapons. Those are weapons. Those aren't toys. I mean, we used to, yeah. I remember playing that as a kid. Yeah. I never saw them called jarts. Those have plastic tips. That's probably the modern version. Um, yeah, we had the metal ones as a kid. We had the metal ones as a kid. Yeah, you just chuck them high. How high can we throw it and then get out of the freaking way? Because yeah, gene darts. Yeah, that's what jarts are. They're gene darts. Yes. No. Yeah, Texag. That's why you move away from the metal tip darts and you go to the plastic ones. You go to the plastic ones. Then you don't have to worry about that. That wasn't the goal of the game. The goal of the game was to get them into the little circles, but yeah. I mean, you can have a blunt point and still pierce a cranium. So, just, you know. Dang it. Dang it. Okay, now I gotta remember how these work. 200%, right? Yes. Okay. And then what's the... Somebody tell me what the... DPS is 400%. What's the tanking one again? What's the tanking pigment do again? Extra event currency from Strongheart was surprisingly useful. I was able to finish full up against Cthulhu and Rosie. Nice. I should probably be... I should blah 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 probably be trying to grind that out on my main, but oh well. Time gate advice is the most effective use to race to 50 and instantly leave D-push on the second run for silver chests. No need to Azaka farm, etc. favor, and then just rush the third vehicle. So I wouldn't say race to 50 and close. 50 is very little favor. So what I like to do is, like on my main account, I'll pop 15-minute speed potions. I'll just pop a stack of like all but the health potion, like 15-minute ones, because I got a bunch of them on my main account. And then wherever I push to in 15 minutes, which is usually a few hundred areas. And that gives me a pretty quick gain of a good chunk of favor. And then if I'm going to do a deep push, it's on the second adventure. But I'll be honest, usually I don't even deep push. Usually I don't even deep push. Depends on how much time I want to devote to the time gate, because it's a lot of manual work, right? So if I were to do that, I would do like, I would go as, you know, I would do 15 minutes. If you have a powerful account and 15 minutes gets you a few hundred levels, then 15 minutes is fine. Otherwise you might want to go further than that. Like on this account, if in a time gate, on the first run I go as far as I can go, and then on the second run I do that again. In the hopes that gets me enough favor to complete the variant, which, like when we had Krull, we kind of got the shaft and we had to go to 175, which meant I had to do like a favor push. So just, you know, it just kind of depends. But yeah, I mean, you're not necessarily trying to push deep for silver chests. The favor is, you know, is okay. You don't want to work too hard at it because the favor multiplier is smaller for time gates than for events. Yeah, so, but not just to 50 and instantly leave. No. And the deep push is more for favor than silver chests. Honestly, you're trying to get enough favor to make sure you can easily get you're trying to grab like whatever is easily available for favor, like a good quick deep push for favor. If you happen, anyway, whatever silver chest you grab along the way. And then do the third variant and bounce. Able to get to 1K for the first time and cleared Dark Urges Tier 3. Nice, Whisper. I am not anywhere near that on this account. Health by 100% for the taking pigment. Thank you. Okay, I think that's good. I think that's fine. Oh, I don't have it. Interesting. I don't have a last updated date. Okay. I wasn't doing that back then on these. Okay. Consumables 101 updated. Updated. I would guess the next thing would be updating the event planning guide to make sure it matches everything that happened for events 2.0, but I feel like I don't want to invest the time in that just yet because I feel like they're still going to probably make some more changes but in time for the next event. So the list of other guides. Upgrade over here. Upgrade over here. Oh, one upgrade. Wow. Aren't you fancy? 337. Did we leave anything random? List of definitely have to make new guides. Azaka farming, because I've never made one. Modrons 101, Gilding 101, Permanently Stacking Champions. Familiars 101, Tale of Two Champions. Tale of Two Champions I can't make until we get there. In this run. Raven, your first two time gate runs are big pushes. Big pushes is a weird. No. On this account as a new player, yes, because it's hard to get favor as a new player, right? And favor is what lets you blow through the variant really quickly and easily. You need favor to get through the variant in a time gate. So on my new player account, yeah, I go in and I push as far as I can on the first run, or at least traditionally that's what I do. You know, grab what you can easily without you don't want to use potions. As a new player, if you're low on potions like I am, I'm not using speed potions, but I might, I don't necessarily want to throw some of these downs, but I might. I got enough now. And then the second run, do it again, depending on how much favor I got. Potentially, then do another deep run because I may, if the variant that I got fed is for area 175, I need to be able to complete area 175. And if I already did that on the first run, if I have enough pushing power to get past 175 on the first run, if I didn't clear 200, or if I'm close to one of those silver chest milestones of every 100 levels, then I might try to do that in the second run, maybe, and then do the variant and leave. But on my main account, like I said, I run 15-minute potions. When they run out, I end that first run. On the second one, I throw another set of 15, but that's going to let me go further faster because I have more power. I have favor. Wherever that gets me, then I do the variant, and then I'm out. I do time gates, and I want to be in and out in an hour or less on my main account. But that's just because I don't like to push deep for favor. Now, if I could easily walk to 2,000 for favor, if it was a quick favor run, because I were super in-game account, of course you'd do that. I don't have that account. Nitro. Are we talking about this? This is root beer. I drink root beer. Never found 20 champion silver chests to be worth the time it takes to get them, even with the perk that gives you extras. But again, it's more that they're. I mean, they'll take the item levels from the duplicate item levels from the silvers. It's more that they're taking that favor and feeding it into a campaign that they just can't earn favor in anymore. And that's fine. I get it. But some people blow their favor up into the E100s, and wherever they're gem farming, right? Run to 2K in the background. Maybe you do. I guess. I don't. But again, that's end game. That's not early game, mid game, or late game. That's more end game, it feels like. And yes, I do think those 4 things are different. I do think those are 4 different things. For a mid-game account that can push around 1,000, not really worth the time. Efficient to deep push time gates. Right. That's the point I'm trying to make. Like ultimately, my recommendation in time gates is grab low-hanging fruit, which means whatever is easy for you and your account to get. You're not trying to put tons of effort into it. And so that can be you went to 200. It can be you went to 1,000 for some accounts at endgame. It's you just go to 2,000 in the background, right? It's very much for your account. It's low hanging fruit, whatever is easy and doesn't take a lot of work, and especially maybe potions. If you're potion limited, you don't want to necessarily be wasting potions on trying to get like silver chests in time gates. But Turn of Fortune's Wheel as a campaign is very difficult to get favor in. So there is an argument now that exists. Once you've gotten as much favor as you can get there, pushing time gates for favor is really currently the only way to increase that. So, but that's, Turn of Fortune's Wheel is currently the last campaign in the game, so... Well, so here, I mean, let's define early game, mid game, late game, end game. So early game, to me, is anything before you open Trials of Mount Tiamat. Basically, like if you are moving through the campaigns in order, early game to me is you haven't opened Trials. Trials to me is the gate to the mid game. Like you may have put a foot into the mid game with like. Maybe you've got some patrons open or whatever, but you've still got a foot in the early game. Once you got Trials open, you're in the mid game now. Congratulations. Put your mid game pants on. Put your mid game pants on. As evidenced by my guide last Saturday, Garwa's Guide to the Mid Game. That's like the key to me. So, and then for that, I think you're in the mid game until... like what is late game? Late game, to be in the late game, I think you've got to have all base adventures and variants done, all of them. Your primary, you're probably on tier 10 of Trials, or you're in the top, like, you're tier 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there in Trials. You're full epic on all your champions. You own all the champions. So owning them all and you're full epic. And you have the majority of the tiers of patron perks done. Right? Like you're entering and working on the late game. Late game to me is grinding out all of the stuff, like all of the variants, right? Now, that's late game. End game, you've done every single adventure variant and patron variant in the game. You've got tier 10 on farm, you've got legendary, you've probably got a team with legendaries that are level 20. And your time is spent doing trials once a week, doing trials every week, Briv gem farming. Your Briv is 4 jump or higher, right? Minimum 4 jump Briv. And you just whenever they introduce new content, you complete it right away. And you're you've supercharged your cores, right? Part of late game is supercharging your cores. I don't even think that's a mid game thing. I think that's part of late game. So it's basically what content are you working on, and when you've done all the content in the game, and your time is spent pushing trials, doing your patron chores, and Briv gem farming, you're in game. You've done everything. It's over, and you're just trying to push your Briv to higher and higher levels, and yeah. Now that doesn't mean you can't have a foot in different areas, right? You can have a foot in the early game and the mid game. You can have a foot in the mid game and the late game. You can have a foot in the late game and the end game. But once you've done all the content and all you care about is more legendary power across more champions and more gems, getting more and more efficient gem farms. If that's the only thing you're doing in the game, everything else is done. You're in the end game. Well, with both feet. With both feet. Do I get downgraded to mid game if I haven't done all the base? It means you have a foot in the mid game. Like I'm saying, you've kind of you're dragging your feet. You're not getting the stuff done, right? There's no reason to do all the base. There's no reason not to, actually. The reason is they're super easy to do. The regular base variants are super easy to do and grant a lot of bonus gems, so why not? I don't know. I don't see any reason not to. What I find there not to be a reason to do currently is to do all the patron variants. You supercharged a level 9 modest core? That feels... I mean, congratulations, but... I don't know. Like if you're just dipping into turning them on, that's wild. Okay, but usually you're just trying to level them up and get them to 15. Like, oh, there was a gold chest. Getting lucky enough to be able to have the pipes to supercharge your core. Wild. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm ready to do patron variants on my main account specifically just for Karlach and Crux. I started doing Xerxes for Crux and Crux alone. Karlach I'll have to 100% Vajra for, but I still don't have a reason to do the others yet, right? So, again, I wish they had a work queue system, because my problem is I just don't want to sit there and manage it all the time. So it's easier for me to just set it AFK and gem farm. Okay, we got a gold chest. We looted a gold chest off a boss. Epic. We're guaranteed an epic here. Where is it? There it is. Okay, don't care about those. Yeah, really don't care about those. Who gets it? That's fair. Yeah. Tutorial Dwarf with the epic. And it's Rally. We'll take it. That's an actual useful epic. That's a useful epic. No, until you're streaming that at your core share piping. Well, I mean, you can only put a pipe in one core at a time. So that's why I like to share my pipes. I like to just have a setting that's just automation only, and then just when I go to try to supercharge something, I have all of my pipes available, and then I just save that as the supercharge version. Yeah, Strider, I don't know what's going on, but I mean, I've seen on my main account, I see the event speed thing work, so yeah. There's some weird speed bug going on that people have been noticing where some speed turns on for the start of your run and then turns off and nobody knows why. But that's a whole different thing. Oh, wait, we got a bounty contract. Yeah. Take it. Get me to 7,500 again so I can get more briv chests. Oh, what are we at? Oh, God, it did it again. It just doesn't stick. It doesn't stick. Oh, my God. Okay. The ticket time. Ticket time. Ticket submitted. Look at me. Being a good contributing member of the community. I'll just click here. 1781. All right. Closer and closer. Did Dalio rework? Did Dadius rework make any new mains? I don't know. I mean, Dadius has got he's a double mop. He's got 2 multiplicatively stacking abilities with item support, which is pretty interesting. He himself has a debuff that he applies based off his attacks, which works with, if you can up the attack speed, you can stack it up pretty quickly. And there's actual visual indicators, which I didn't notice for a while, but there's 3 colored indicators matching his chromatic orbs that'll appear on an enemy. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, it's definitely going to help out, people who like positional formation abilities. It's definitely going to help out. Well, it has to help out a high int DPS, right? If you qualify for those things, then you're going to enjoy Dadius as a support, or you can just run Dadius as your DPS. Where the result is magic missile? Why? That's. I mean, it's not a normal magic missile. It's 10 magic missiles plus however many enemies are on the screen. At random targets. It can be. He's the only person in the game that can technically throw out, in the right situation, 111 magic missiles in a barrage. He just goes and they just stream out. It's, yeah. That ain't a Shara's magic missile. That ain't a Shara's magic missile. I think it's 10. I think it's 10 plus all the enemies. Hold on, I gotta go look. For a long time they didn't tell you, and then they told us in the rework. Yeah. 10 plus every enemy on the screen. But it's a random attack, so yeah. That's a lot of upcasting, yeah. That's just normally not possible, so yeah. 6 silver brief chests and you got a dupe shine. Come on. Wait, what? So wait, you were already full shiny? I mean, that's just rubbing it in. That's just rubbing it in. Yeah, that would. I mean, I think your computer would, the missiles would burst out of the screen and hit the CPU. That would just be over with. Oh, okay. All right. Well, never mind. Never mind. You and all your gilding. All right, I'm gonna throw another 15 minutes of speed. Not that it's gonna get us a lot of progress here, but you know what? I'll throw click damage on too. I'll just burn through everything real fast. Yeah, feeling guilty. Yes, that's the exact term. That's the term. I'm feeling guilt when you have more guilds than other people. They make you feel guilty about it. You know. Here, we want to do this. So I messed yesterday. I messed around a lot on my main account with my Briv Gem Farm. Tried to move it to Everlasting Rhyme, and I got it with with the fact that I have one of those event boons going on with the permanent fire breath. Took me a lot of fiddling. Finally got it stable. With a reset of like 802. And then to celebrate, I went into the store and I bought Karlach's Golden Epic and promptly regretted it because that gave me a 4x damage buff in all my parties and it broke my gem farm again. I was like, oh, I just wanted to give Karlach something pretty, and the game punishes me. So upset. So upset. Oh man, I still can't believe I did that. So I gotta wait. It lasts for 48 hours. So another 36 hours or so, I'll be able to gem farm again. Yeah, you need to be just at this point. Well, I mean, they're not gonna they're gonna put in a toggle for the event stuff. I don't think they'll put in a toggle for the other stuff, but once that toggles in for the event stuff, then you can start asking for other places. I mean, then they'll have done the work and made it work somewhere, so it should be easier to do it again, right? I don't know. Fire Breath event bonus going away in 2 days. Is it? Okay. That'll be good. I didn't look at when that turns off. That'll be nice. That'll be nice. $2024, year of the toggle. Yeah. Buying a weekend chest gives a boon? Yeah. Buying chest packs from the shop give you... Well, it's not an event boon. They've always had a buff that's associated with buying stacks of chests. So like it's double damage for the $6 pack. It's double damage. I got the 7 pack, so it's quad. 16 gets you 50% more favor off resets, and 42 gets you just double gold. So there's 4 different buffs for how much you're buying. Has nothing to do with the event stuff. The event stuff is completely different. That's these bonuses up here. Plus one event boon, but you still get this, right? You still see these normal chest purchase buffs. They're separate. These won't toggle. They were saying just the event boons would toggle, so. Well, the Cal Gaiden, the stuff you get from completing the tiers, that one's like, yeah, that's the one that's super long, and that's champions. That's the champion buff from completing their tiers in the event. But there's an event boon that you get if you pay cash in the shop on an event related DLC. You buy bigger packs, do you get the buffs from the smaller packs? No. No. I'm being busy. I think I missed something. Did Events 2.0 completely replace Seasons? No, it's not. Everyone thinks this is what's going on. Graydon, Seasons went to live on a farm upstate, where they'll have room to just, be themselves. No, we can't visit on the weekends. Seasons now live on the farm. Okay. Events got an update. Events went from 12 days to 3 weeks. Events now have 2 featured champions, a brand new champion and a reworked champion. So events are now where champion reworks happen. That's the carryover from Seasons. Seasons were where reworks happened before, but now events are where a rework happened. 1 a month. Events happen 1 a month. But events are this is just events 2.0 are just events. It's a replacement for events 1.0, and it's the new way to get rework champions. Everything else that happened in the seasons is gone. Is gone. Yeah. And I like Events 2.0 much better than Events 1.0. I like the way that the Events 2.0 does a focused rework. Like we know that it's one champion. They're getting a full rework. It's not, one champion gets a full rework, 2 get okay reworks, and like 2 maybe get something nice, but maybe not. Like that was very meh. Right? Like if a champion got included in a season and didn't get a rework, it was like, right. So now we know whenever a rework champion arrives in an event, it's got a solid rework, and I think that's great. These ads are a pain. So Mycroft, the ads are on a schedule. It's every 30 minutes. We do schedule ad breaks so that when people hop into the chat, it's not, they don't have to sit and deal with pre-roll ads. And also, if I'm in the middle, most of the time, sometimes I forget, but if I'm in the middle of trying to, or if someone asks a question, usually I try not to answer the question until after the ad break is over. Sometimes I get distracted. And then finally, ads support the channel. Not everybody can sub, and that's totally fine. But if you can watch the ads, then that helps me out. And they're only 90 seconds. Mm-hmm. Seasons are taking a gap year. That's another good way to put it. Oh man. Oh man. Seasons are taking a gap year before they go to college or before they go to grad school. Either way you want to think about it. I don't control the length of the ads, Nizkiz. Or they would be. Alright, Looking Rider. Thanks for hanging out. You split the party guide is currently helping you so much. Yeah, you're welcome, Lord Vexus. Yeah, it's pretty much a walkthrough. Everyone in the community has used that guide so many times. I mean, it's 100%. Like it hashtag Bruner lives. Hashtag Bruner lives. Yeah. Yeah, they don't need to try to figure out a theme. They just, hey, here's a champion. Let's make them better. That's so much nicer. That's so much nicer than trying to squeeze everybody into the same tin can. And the amount of time between events will vary. It isn't always going to be a week, right? Because things. First Wednesday of every month is when an event starts. It lasts 3 weeks, and however much time there is, however many Fridays there are between Wednesdays and Fridays there are between the end of the month and the start of the next one, you can have more content and more natural time to get weekends. But usually you're just going to see like a week gap, right? But every now and then it might be more. They just, they're going to need to do something. We all know they know they need to do something with time gates now to make them fit into this new Events 2.0 system. I think I still get pre-roll ads even when you're scheduled. Maybe it's on. Oh, if I'm streaming on the C&E Games channel, I don't think they do ads. They don't do scheduled ad breaks. But here, you shouldn't be getting pre-roll ads. You might show up right as an ad starts, as a scheduled ad break starts. I can't help you with that. You know what I mean? I start my streams usually at the top of the hour, which means there's usually an ad break close to the top of the hour, because they kick an ad in right when you start your stream, when you set it on auto like this. For those who don't know, we had a lot of people show up from the in-game pop-up. I'm working. This is my brand new account. We're on day 19 of a new account that I primarily just played on stream. With a couple exceptions were for Rosie's Beastinger Unleashed, which takes so long I'd let it run off stream. But I have enough favor. I got like E25 event favor thanks to Beastingers Unleashed. So I'm doing at least one or two of the tier 2 variants that I didn't think I was going to be able to do, but we just the third variant, the goal of 450 can't make it, but 250 is guaranteed. So we're doing the 250s, 350 maybe, depends on the restriction. So we're just kind of trying to work through as many of these as possible before the event ends on Wednesday. Use that guy this week as well. Nice, Ryback. And yeah, because split the party 2 and 3 and whatever, they're all the same kind of thing. It's just you have to slightly alter how many champions you're using. But yeah, they're real straight. Once you unlock split the party, you can do it. You can do it. Does anyone know if I put a pigment on an existing slot that has a pigment, does it override the original pigment? So in other words, if I put a support pigment on the same equipment as a tanking pigment, you get them both. I just added this to my Consumables 101 guide, but if you have, like my Briv has a froggy pigment here on Steel Marrow, right? And that's the support pigment. So as long as you have an epic, you can put a pigment on it. And then the types of pigments you can put on it are based off the roles. So I can put a tanking pigment on, I can put a healing pigment on, and I can put a support pigment on. The other speed doesn't have a pigment. DPS has a pigment. He's not a DPS. So technically you could put a tanking, healing, and support pigment on each of Briv's items. So it's based off the role the champion has. Thanks, Ravenfire. My beard's having a bad beard day. It's in a weird... Some days are better than others. Today it's being all... There's a storm that rolled in last night, so today it's just all... Bleh. Bleh. Topic of Garwar. Appreciating a live in your Reddit guide compilation thread. Oh, I mean, do you mean the wiki page? I think that's what we're talking about. There. That's the wiki page. I just counted. There's 173 guides there, and they're all mostly updated. They're not. Some of them aren't exactly. But like major stuff doesn't change over time. But like some of the champions may not have the newest, all the feats if they've been added as over time. And Sun is managing or 250 in some event variants easily enough with E13 favorite. Nice. Like I said, the 20 gets me through 350, but barely. And that's with a full party. So anything restricted. After getting walled by Area 1400 Event Avengers, can you offer a broad idea of where the power comes from push for legendary effects? Legendary effects. So if all the champs, all epic gear, all the modern cores, and scattered legendaries, yeah, you need legendary effects, and they need to be leveled up. That's what gets you to the higher stuff. Item levels, like all of my stuff on my main account, I finished everything. My item level floor, so the least powerful of my champions, average item level 200. But then, champions that have, I don't know why I hit Briv's ult, champions that have like a mop abilities, so, multiplicatively stacking with item support, I've been hitting those with average item level 1,000 in that range. Like I try to get 1,000 item levels on that item. But really those you can put more item levels into and they'll still give you more power. But outside that, it's legendaries. I mean, pigments are great, but legendary powers and leveled up legendary powers where it's at. So, I mean, my goal was to try to get my pushing teams to legendary level 10, and I only have I think Karlach is now in full 10s. I may have one other full 10 champion, and the others are between 5s and 10. So, I mean, you can do, even level 5 because of the doubling nature of the buff doubles every time you go up a level. Level 5 on people is solid when it's on everyone in a formation. How many pigments can you put on nerds? 24. They have all 4 roles, and they have 6 items. So you just unlock Karlach. Nice. Closing in on picking up Azaka. Nice, me too. Well, we're in Tomb of Annihilation on this account. We've just, the event stopped our progress. So I'm to here. We're working through the base adventures. So there's not much more. There's another node here, and then we'll go up here, and then I'll have to go hit some variants. But we've already got E20 favor, which way better than any time I've ever gotten here before. That's on the back of a Briv Krull combo push. The combo platter, known as Briv and Krull. Brull. They're Brull. Yeah. Wow. J-Dog's total DPS increase from Formation Legendaries, E302. That's what I'm saying. Legendaries are ridiculous. They made a mistake. They made a mistake letting Legendaries go up to 20. Even at 10, it would have probably still been the strongest power segment in the game, but they're like, no, let's make it 20. How's that feel now, Justin? Probably not good. Probably not good. Okay. I don't care about favor anymore. Or, I mean, gold farming anymore. Oh, I don't really care about him anymore. We're gonna go here. I forgot this is limited formation, so I can't throw all the usual suspects in. We'll get rid of Archon and we'll throw in Naili. I mean, we can leave. We just said it's fine. It's fine. Alright, now we're just clearing with pushing power. I've got click damage potions, sure. Sure. I just got to be careful with my potions. I don't have a lot, and I know I want them for specific things. Like, we've got unlocking Azaka coming up. We've got unlocking Dragonbait in the future. I don't think I need to... I really just kind of am planning for another deep push in Tomb. I would like another deep push in Tomb. So I'd like solid potions for those things, but I don't think I need it for Azaka, actually, now that we have E20 favor. So really just the two. I need another deep push in Tomb and then unlocking Dragonbait. Dragonbait's a ways off, though, so lots of chances to get decent potions before then. Failed Reyes variant for the second time on your new account? Yeah, whenever you fail a variant, like whenever you try a variant and you just can't make it work, what I do is I have my little notepad document, and I make a note of the variant, and if it's a patron version or not, and then what I think I need to complete it. Like, am I missing champions because it's a heavy champion restricted thing? Could that make it better? Do I just need more power? Like, if I noticed some of my champions just don't have good equipment yet, is that going to do it? How far off am I? Like, I'll put the area versus the area goal on there to know, like, because if you're just a few levels away, that's not as big a deal. But if you're like 20 levels away or more, you got a long way to go, right? Figuring that out can help. Hi, I'm new and I want to know the trick that makes me go for a high stage fast. It's not a trick. I mean, to get the game to go faster, you got to have speed potions or speed champions. And to go to higher stages, you need power. Like, you gotta build a good formation. You gotta work on your gear. You gotta have favor. Like, there aren't tricks for this stuff. There's knowledge. So hold on. Maybe will the bot trigger if I do a reply? No, it didn't. Oh, I know what the problem is. There's no gap. There it is. Check that link. Check that link. That's my basically early game walkthrough with references to the info you need. Well, it's not that I don't support it, it's that I don't do it. I don't share my game info with third-party sites. Unless I'm using a specific API, usually. Unless I'm using a specific API that the game supports, right? I've just, as somebody who worked in the games industry, that was always a big, never do this, like in Red. So, the Trials rework hasn't happened yet, right? So Trials is currently in 2.0, but Justin wants to do a 3.0, and that hasn't happened yet. Don't even worry about it because it's so far off that it's been talked about for a year, and it's probably still another 6 months away, maybe at best. So just play Trials in its current formation, or its current incarnation. Just learn it and love it. List it? Wait, no. Beverheim, DPS pigments or golden epic in the Thayan Enclave. What's the best buy for the gems? Depends. It depends. Here, let's go hop over there for a second. Like the nerds? No. But obviously, like if you have Dyna hair, this one's actually pretty good. Like you have to make judgment calls because you have to know like what item is this? Is that item a big deal item for that champion? And this is the big deal item for Dyna hair. This is the item that like her left specialization makes her base buff a mathematically overpowered buff. This is the item you have to have power on to make that happen. So this one, potentially, if you have Dyna hair, yeah, that's a pickup. But if you don't, then like on this account, I don't have either of these champions, so I'm not going to do either of those. Like I bought Froggies. Froggies are the consistent choice. But occasionally there are golden epics. You just have to understand what the epic is for. But all the rest of this stuff, like buy whatever you want ultimately, but the most power, kind of the most guaranteed power is usually the Marvelous Support Pigment. Unless it's a golden epic for either a speed ability or a mathematically overpowered ability. And I don't really want to buy that golden epic when I don't have Dyna hair. It would go to her. She's not on, and she might be she's in slot 3, right? She might be a pickup for slot 3 at some point if I were to time gate, but yeah, I wouldn't, I don't have the currency for it at the moment anyway, and it's going to be there for a while, so don't need to rush. You gotta have faith. Saving silver boxes and opening up the stage is going to give me some gold I can use to upgrade my champions. I mean, technically, is that a good idea or not going to make any difference? I mean, there's a little there, but like I'm holding on to mine just for the little extra bit I might get at the end of a really deep favor push. Really, that's the only reason I'm holding on to mine. Because I already have, well, there's two reasons. One, my champions all my core and evergreen champions are in green or better gear, which means, or blue, or actually they're all in blue or better at this point. So I don't need to really open silvers at the moment. I would like them because I am chasing Mert. They would give me some duplicate item levels, but I'm trying to get multiple gains off of them at a single time when I open them. But yeah, once you have like blue or better gear, that you don't have to open them right away. And they can be good for like your first push in an event, or at the very end of a deep favor push, just to try to get you some extra gold to maybe upgrade a champion again. But it's not guaranteed that it's going to help you a whole lot outside of a first push in an event. Weren't the feats from the Enclave supposed to eventually go into the gem shop? They do, yeah. It takes, there's an exclusivity period. So the ones that just left the Thayan Enclave at the end of the last emergence event, it should be like 3 months, and then they show up in available for gems. There's a 3-month exclusivity period after they're gone from the Enclave. And they could be in the Enclave for 3 months. So yeah, so that's why I only buy the feats if it's something like, I bought a speed feat from there once, I think, because because that would start earning me gems right away. But the rest of the feats I don't. Generally, I just kind of ignore the feats, and I'm like, at some point I'll get them for gems, for green gems. Yeah, so when an item's in an enclave, when it appears for the first time, it's there for that event, but then it hangs out in the shop, like the stuff that we were just looking at, until the end of the next event, emergence event, and then it goes away for like 3 months, and then it shows back up. Like feats for gems and the rest, the skins and the golden epics go into the wild offer system. Yeah, the feats don't go into the actual gem shop. It's just down here. Just down here. Like here, Centaur glitch. Hitch counts as a centaur. Blah blah blah. This isn't available because it's still waiting. It's on its cooldown period, and then it'll show up for gems eventually. So. Yeah, I mean, because look, there's so many. If they put it in the if they put it in the gem shop, they would have to have a feats tab. But even with a feats tab or a feats filter, but even with that, they then have to maybe filter by champion. That because suddenly you'd be looking at 130, like 100 plus potentially increases the damage of this champion by 10% or all champions by 10%. And like if you're not paying attention to who it's for, like it gets confusing. So. Oh, I was just there and we had enough gems. Oh no, I wasn't even looking. Gimme. Gimme. No. God dang it. I just want an epic. We just got one though, so I guess I shouldn't be greedy. Shouldn't be greedy. But I'm gonna be. Every champion gives all champ damage effect is must used, right? I'm not sure I understand what you're asking. Is there a place where the rotated gem feats appear without looking at each champion's feat page? I mean, if it's available, currently available in the Thayan Enclave, you're going to see it here. But everything else is is in the champ UI. Everything else. I don't know exactly what you're asking, Ardiak. I mean, if we're talking about feats, all champs damage feats generally tend to be the weakest feats because it's just a generic power. And usually some of the specialized feats are better. But when you just start, you don't have them, right? Like, so I've got Hitch is 20% plus damage on champions by 10% because that's the only two feats I have. I haven't unlocked anything else. But like, even like if I randomly got the 25 out of a chest, I'd use it, but I'd rather have this 40%. I'd rather have an extra dagger. I'd rather have this 80%. I'd rather have this 80%, right? But I don't have those. So I use whatever the best is that I have available. I mean, there's a use for all the feats, but ultimately you're trying to get the best damage bonus, and once you get all the feats, those all champs damage feats tend to be the least useful. It just depends on the champion. And we're going to have an ad in about a minute or so, or less. Nerds, do they provide anything unique as a champion? Are they worth 100,000 gems? So this is two different questions. Are they worth 100,000 gems? No. At some point you'll have so many gems that yes, but you know, if you're earning 100,000 gems a week, yeah, throw a week's worth of gems at Nerds if you want. Do they provide anything unique as a champion? So they're considered a useful tank champion for Artemis formations, which is one of the big endgame formations for a lot of people. They also have this unique interaction. Oh, ad break. with Will called Willy Wonka. I'll come back to this. I will TLDR this after the ad break. After the ad break, just in case. We're almost done with Deadwinter Date. Deadwinter Date. Yes, we did decide how many jumps nerds were worth earlier. I mean, that's what I would like. I mean, we talked about what I would like to see nerds priced at. I would like to see them priced at 1,000 gems, but they're not. But they're not. Like, at 1,000 gems, they would be a great new player champion. Oh well. Back from the ad break in about 30 seconds. Okay. I think we're back from the ad break for everybody. So the TLDR was nerds. They'd be worth it at 1,000 gems, but at 100k, it's more of a later game thing. They work with Artemis and Will. That's pretty much it. Sir Rob Stroll, is it weird that a patron challenge is asking for a champion I don't own? Yes. Submit a ticket. Submit a ticket. It should only queue for champions you own, that you currently own, ever. So, yeah, it should be impossible for that to happen, but welcome to Idle Champions. I made the mistake of saving gems earlier for nerds and was very disappointed. I imagine so. That's what I don't like about nerds, is people see them in the gem shop and think, oh, I need to get those. Or I was even reading somebody commenting, oh, I'm like a new player and I have 7 familiars. What should I spend my gems on now? And I'm just sitting here going, good Lord. Like, I'm like, if they bought those with gems, I have 3, so that would be 4, 5, 6, 7. They would have saved up to 50,000, like all of those. That's a lot. And when maybe they should have been buying gold chests. Like, I don't know what their progress is like. I don't know. They didn't tell us, like, were they already blue or better? Were they, whatever, like, but that's a lot of gems. I won't even save up for the 5k one yet. So, like, everything in moderation. You should be spending in the places that are going to get you the best progress. And early on, nerds ain't it. Early on, familiars aren't. I mean, this is, you get here, free, 250, 1,000. And then I've been done for a while. I would consider it, now that I'm in full blues on my corn evergreens, I'm just hunting epics, I would consider it. Except that I'm still trying to make sure I've got some decent gear for dragon bait. I would consider the next one. Wouldn't go beyond that for a while. Yeah, no, we're not to gem farming on this account yet. Yeah. I mean, nerds for Artemis is, you need so many item levels for Artemis that nerds is... And to do the will nerds interaction, that's also a lot of item levels. So those are all end game things. Greetings from Argentina. Greetings. Hello. Welcome. On my new account, I have 6 familiars, 1 from Mert, the rest from gems. Yeah, I just can't. Right, currently at where I feel like I'm at, I do not feel comfortable spending I don't feel comfortable saving up 5,000 gems for the cube just yet. It'll happen soon. It'll happen soon. Yeah, I buy Jeremy on my new player accounts because, I mean, yeah, makes sense. But I have so many familiars, I can leave Jeremy in the shop or remain. Assuming all else is equal. Okay, hold on. Gotta get my head into that space, because that isn't usually the case for Idle Champion. What DPS should I prioritize short term to tackle tier 4 of... Oh, no, that's... I mean, there's no way to know based off, but, you know, the restrictions could be, like, I mean, they could be all over the place. So I don't know, like, if there's a... I don't know. Strong DPS in the game currently. Catty Bree, Birdsong, Jim. These are without investing outrageous item levels. I just want to say, this isn't... I'm not going to list Artemis or War Duke or Kron. That's outrageous item levels to make those work. So, again, Catty Bree, Birdsong, Jim. Without having them here, it's hard for me to remember all of them off the top of my head. The absolute adversaries can support each other if you've got a lot of the tadpoles. So any of their DPS can be strong. Not Rosie. Wait, I don't have them all in front of me. Hold on, I've got a list over here. Who else we got? I mean, those will do you for quite a while. Those will get a lot of stuff done in a lot of different places. I mean, those may be a good solid set. Yeah. Zorbu. Zorbu still needs a little bit of a fix. So yeah. Catty Bree, Birdsong, Jim. Those three are going to be solid options. And then again, you could do like Karlach or the Dark Urge. Lae'zel, I think, is counted as a DPS, but because they have those, if you've got a lot of tadpoles, you can build a formation around it and not necessarily need tons of item levels. But I've always gotten good results out of Birdsong, and honestly, Birdsong and Catty Bree carry me through most things in this game. Yeah, it's more about like your supports, right? There are a lot of supports with mop abilities, and that's a bigger deal. You can get most champions to do lots of good things, like most DPS to do lots of good things with the right supports. And then you want people like Ontrias, Strongheart, BBG if your DPS is int 12 or lower, or Kira. Oh no. So, or slot 1 or Kira. Slot 2, well, there's multiple slot 2s. 3, Spurt or Grama or BBEG. 4, Ontrias. 5, Briv. 6, Crawl. As a support is fantastic out of 6 for deep stuff. 7, Catty Bree. 8, I feel like if I pull anybody out of 8, it's usually like Beetle and Grim. I don't know. 8 feels a little at the moment. 9, I usually have Ayla rocking the stuff as a tank. 10, because of my item levels, Tyrell is usually beefy. 11 could be 11 is Strongheart, or I mean Avern's still solid. 12, Miria for deep pushes to keep people alive. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of supports, and having a good, like a wide selection of solid supports means you can mix and match lots of different DPS. Well, I mean, the Dark Urge is coming in strong. Like, he feels stronger than he normally would, of course, because of an event buff. But he is going to be strong simply because of the multiplicatively stacking nature of 2 of his abilities. The big one being the tadpoles. But you have to dump so many item levels into Warduke, Krond, Artemis, and their supporting champions that it's like that's a later thing. That's like you really are just deciding I'm going to go all in and then never really change, because once you've invested it, it's like switching to somebody else at that point is rough. Super informative. Historic have relied on Zorbu, Ashara, and Jaheira. Those are solid. Those are still solid champions. I would put Zorbu, Ashara, and Jaheira right under Birdsong and Catty Bree and Jim. Jim got a rework, so is multiplicatively stacking. But Jim is a bit formation layout situational, I will say. That's why I tend to just rely on Catty Bree and Birdsong. Is there a way to see the champions will be an upcoming April event? Raflin, yes. For whatever reason, they dumped them all into the Greengrass achievement situation, so returning from somewhere, because they've moved champions into this event from other places. So some of these are Greengrass historic, some aren't. Narak, Catty Bree, Ayla, Spurt, Melf, Penelope, Orkira, Gosrick, and Ontrius. You may recognize some of these from that list I just talked about. My high priorities on my new player account: Ontrius, Orkira, and probably Catty Bree. Those are my 3. Those are probably going to be my 3 flex slots. But Spurt is so tempting. And Ayla, I love her so much as a tank, but not enough flex slots. And that's before we figure out who the newest, well, where the newest arriving champion is going to be, I should say. Not who. I know who, but yeah. So currently you can just look at the achievement for the list for the next event. There we go, the long patrol for Regis, and we finished. All right.